Here is an important case study question from the chapter Arithmetic Progressions. Let me read the question. The school auditorium is to be constructed to accommodate 1500 people, at least 1500 people. The chairs are placed in form of concentric circular arrangement that you can see in this picture, in such a way that each succeeding, means every next circular row, has 10 seats more than the previous one. So from this statement you can make out that common difference is a plus 10. That means first row, which is a circular one, has got say 10 seats. Then the second circular row will have 20, the third will have 30, the fourth will have 40. Like that 1500 seats are arranged. That means if it is so, then in certain number of rows 1500 chairs will be totally accommodated in the room. The question says the first one, if the first circular row has a 30 seats, so you can make out that 30 is the first term. How many seats will be in the 10th row? Number of seats in 10th row means 810. So that's the first question that we will do the calculation. Second question, if 1500 seats are there in the auditorium, so 1500 is the sum total of all the number of seats, that means Sn. How many rows will be there? How many rows means we should find n, number of rows. N1 means first row, N2 means second row, third row, N3, n as 3, like that. The choice question is, if 1500 seats are arranged in the auditorium, so that means sum total Sn. If 1500 seats, means Sn is 1500, is to be arranged in the auditorium, how many seats will be left to be put after 10th row? So what we'll do is we'll find sum total of all the number of seats which are placed in the first 10 rows. And then this S10 we will remove, means subtract from the total number of seats in the auditorium, that is 1500. So we will do 1500 minus sum total of the total number of seats which are placed up to 10th row. That is the choice question. The last question, if there were 17 rows in the auditorium, that means n is 17. How many seats will be there in the middle row? So we should know that if number of terms is odd, then the middlemost term is n plus 1 by 2. That means 17 plus 1, 18 by 2. So 18 by 2 means what? Ninth row. So we have to tell how many seats are there in ninth row, means we should find A9. So let's begin. So the first question, I have written the list of chairs which are placed in the row. So according to the question, if the first circular row has a 30 seats and every next concentric circular row has a 10 more seats, so the first term will be 30, then 40, then 50, then 60, and then in total 1500 seats are accommodated in that hall. So you know that first term is 30. Common difference is A2 minus A1, means what? 40 minus 30 or 50 minus 40 or 60 minus 50. So it is a 10. We are supposed to find the number of seats in 10th row. 10th row number of seats means what? We have to find A10. So we know that AN is A plus n minus 1d. So A10 means n is the 10, which is first term, which is 30, plus 10 minus 1. 10 minus 1 is 9. Common difference is 10. So 30 plus 90, 9 into 10 is 90. 30 plus 90. 30 plus 90 is a 120. So in 10th row, there are 120 seats which are placed. The second question, if 1500 seats are there in the auditorium, that means total number of seats is 1500. So we are told that sum total of the total number of seats in the auditorium is 1500. We are supposed to find how many rows are needed to place those 1500 chairs. So we have to find n. Now we will use sum of n terms, any one formula, first formula, second formula. But for second formula, that is finite terms, we have to find nth term. So I'm using the first formula, that is Sn is n by 2 times twice a plus n minus 1 D. So total number of seats is 1500, which is n by 2. N is our requirement. N is the number of rows. 2 times 30. 30 is the number of seats in the first row, plus n minus 1 times 10. 10 is the common difference. Let us work out. So 1500 times 2. We'll not try to multiply. We'll wait till the last. If there is any cancellation occurs, that we will make use of. 60 plus 10 you distribute over the bracket. You get here 10n minus 10. Here 1500 times 2 is n times 60 minus 50 in the bracket. 60 minus 10 in the bracket is 50 plus 10n. We distribute n over the bracket and we get 1500 times 2 is 50n plus 10n square. The cancellation is only dividing by 10 throughout. So our equation is n square plus 5n minus 150 times 2 minus 300. So we will solve n square plus 5n minus 300. How to do that? We'll do the splitting middle term. So 300's prime factors. 3, 10 into 10 means what? 2, 2, 5, 5. These will put in two sets so that their sum is the middle term, that is 5n. So we can take these as 5 4s are 20 and 3 into 5, that is 15. So we'll take it as a negative 15. So 20 minus 15 is 5. So 5n is a 20n minus 15n. So since n square coefficient is 1, we can write the factors directly as n plus 20 because 20 is positive. Then n minus 15 because 15 is negative equal to 0. Each factors when you equate to 0, you get n as negative 20 and positive 15. So how many rows are there in all which accommodate 1500 seats in the auditorium? So they are 15 of them. So 15 rows are there. So negative 20 is an absurd answer because you can't have negative number of chairs. Choice question. So there are 15. If 1500 seats are to be arranged in the auditorium, so total number of seats is 1500. The question is, how many seats will be left? How many seats are still left to be put after 10th row? So what we'll do is, we will find the total number of seats which are put or placed in the auditorium up to 10th row. And then, number of seats to be put after 10th row will be the total number of seats in the auditorium minus the total number of seats which were placed up to 10th row. So first, we know that sum total of all the chairs is 1500. So we only have to find S. We'll use SN formula. S10 is 10 by 2 times twice A plus 10 minus 1, that is 9 times common difference, which is 10. So 15 5 is 75, so 750. So 750 seats are already placed up to 10th row. So the number of seats which are placed after 10th row is 1500 minus 750, that is 750, remaining 750 seats. Means a half of the total number of seats are already placed. Remaining half is left of the total number of chairs, that is 750. So 750 chairs have to be placed after 10th row so that 1500 chairs are accommodated in the room. So the last bit, that is third bit of the question is, if there are 17 rows in all, 17 rows means number of rows is 17. Then how many seats are there in the middle row? So we should know which is the middle term. Then we will find that term of the AP. So we know that if a number of terms is odd, 17 is odd. So the middlemost term is n plus 1 by 2. So middle term of odd number of terms is n plus 1 by 2. If n is even, there will be two middle rows. So n by 2th term and n by 2 plus 1th term. So it is n is odd, so it is very easy to find. 17 plus 1 by 2. That is 18 by 2. So ninth term is the middle of 17. So middlemost row is ninth row. And so we have to find how many seats will be there in middlemost row. That is A9 we should find, which is A plus 9 minus 1, that is 8D. First term is 30. There were 30 seats in the first row, plus 8 times common difference is 10. In the question they said that every succeeding circular row has 10 seats more. So this is 30 plus 8 times 10, that is 80, which turns out to be 110. So there are 110 rows, 110 seats, 110 seats in the middlemost row.